We need to stabilize people. We need to deal with the underlying reasons they're out on the streets and sidewalks in the first place. The reason they're self-medicating with drug or alcohol addictions, with bipolar disorder and schizophrenia, and other challenges that so many people face.
Well, California narrowly passing a measure aimed at fighting the state's homeless crisis. It's called Proposition 1, and it approved a $6 billion bond to build more mental health and addiction treatment centers. Under Governor Gavin Newsom, the state has spent about $22 billion total on the homeless crisis. But critics say none of the spending seems to be completely working because the number of Californians have ballooned to 181,000. California Republican Congressman Darrell Issa joins us now. And the very latest on this. Congressman, your reaction to the passage of this bill by the voters. What do you think of this referendum?
You know, look, you can't keep throwing money at the symptoms. That $22 billion that the governor spent, he spent that basically buying hotel rooms to put people in for a night, 2 nights, 10 nights. More than a decade ago, they raised the tax on every single high-income Californian by additional 1%, specifically to fight mental illness. That money has never been properly used for exactly that. The reason people are on fentanyl is they have disorders. The people who are on fentanyl, if they didn't have disorders, have them. When we look at what is going on, why most people are homeless, it's actually drug and alcohol abuse. So fixing it requires that they spend the money that they extracted from taxpayers properly, and they haven't done that. You cannot get rid of homelessness simply by giving somebody a hotel room for the night. You've got to cure the drivers of this homelessness. By the way, your earlier segment, which was all about that theft, those organized theft rings very much prey on the fact that they can give a couple of $100 for a couple $1,000s worth of goods that have been stolen under our weak Prop 47 law, and that's feeding the fentanyl purchasing.
So what do you think the main driver of this, and when you talk about mental health, has it been COVID? Is it the fact that people live in the margins? Is it the other issues of addiction, as you just said, and mental health?
It's mental health, including addiction. Look, there are a great many of us who have a propensity to do things to excess, to eat to excess, to drink to excess, etc. If you successfully fight it, you're not an alcoholic, you're not a drug user. If you don't successfully do it, if you succumb to it, you become that description, a drug addict or an alcoholic. The fact is, it can be treated. We can help many people, but that help is not a hotel room. That help is real therapy. We're in a state where you can't incarcerate anyone unless they want to be incarcerated. And as soon as they get a little sober, they typically check themselves out and go back and score. So this is the reason that we do have nearly 200,000 additional homelessness in my district, and some of our law enforcement and our mayors like John Franklin. They've actually gone to organized bust, going to the effort to prove that it's not $900, it's $900 9 times a day. And they've been able to get some of these people help because once they've got a felony facing them and they're given a choice of go to real therapy and get clean and dry or go to jail, they pick a more serious solution. But look, it's going to take tough love. Decades ago, Rudy Giuliani cleaned up New York. He didn't do it by being nice. He did it by doing what would actually fix the problem. We need to do the same thing in California.
Why isn't there, some ask, a Marshall Plan for mental health? We see in New York, for example, an increase in other cities across the country, as opposed to the short-term Band-Aids, as you point out, the hotel room for the night, helping the people that way. More programs, more therapy, hospitalization, and this sort of thing.
Well, the reality is that some of it goes back to court decisions that said basically if someone isn't an immediate threat to themselves or others, that you can't keep them. But you have to keep people long enough to get them in a condition where they can decide to stay dry, to stay sober. But you're right about the Marshall Plan, except remember, this is a Marshall Plan that has to be catered to each individual. You can't treat a group like you would just a group of hungry people feeding them. Each one of these people has to be addressed personally and kept in real supervised situation until they, can maintain sobriety on their own. It doesn't always work. Sometimes you have to do it multiple times. But right now, we're not doing it. Right now, we're housing people not in fact curing people.
So many people do need help, and if they get that appropriate help they need, they can be pulled back from the margins and saved. Congressman Darrell Issa, always good to see you. Congressman, thank you for your insight today.
Have a good weekend. Thanks, Harris.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.